Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel and the telephone game YouTube Hop. I am the next in line right after Sandy, who is over at State Goddess. This is her layout, and I am supposed to be looking at it and then creating my own layout based off of what I see in her layout. And then I will pass my layout on to the next person, and they will create a layout based on my layout without having seen Sandy's or anybody else before her, and it will go on down the line as such. So basically a lot like the telephone game that we played when we were kids, where you whisper in somebody's ear and at the end you see how the message got all messed up. So we are doing the same thing but in scrapbooking. I really love Sandy's layout, and I love the colors that she used and how vibrant it was. So I decided to go ahead and do a couple of photos of my grandson's for my grandson's album, and I'm using pretty much all of Chamel products in his album. I add a few things here and there, but basically I start with her stuff because it all goes well together and matches. You can interchange things from one collection to the next, and things match really well. So I have these two photos of him with my daughter at one of our local little it's a little kids amusement park and zoo, and we wanted to take him on the merry-go-round for the first time. He was, let's see, 7 months old, and we got in line and they told us that he couldn't ride because he didn't have shoes on. I mean, really, who makes a 7-month-old wear shoes on a merry-go-round? But anyway, that was the rule. So we went over to the gift shop and I bought him some shoes because, you know, I couldn't let him go without riding the merry-go-round for the first time without me being there. So, I mean, come on, I had to go buy him shoes. We bought the smallest shoes they had there. They're huge on him, but they qualified for wearing shoes, and so he got to ride the ride. He thought they were kind of funny on his feet. He kept shaking his legs and looking down at them and smiling and giggling. It was really funny, and so I wanted to document that, and this was his first ride on the merry-go-round in these enormous shoes. So the title of my layout is No Shirt, No Shoes, No Service, and I just thought it was kind of a funny story to tell, and kind of funny that they make a little baby wear shoes on the ride, even if you're not like riding, like he's riding on a giraffe that doesn't even go up and down, but whatever. So I'm using some branding strips. I'm using papers from, let's see, the red one is, I think, Head in the Clouds. The polka dot one is from Go Now Go. The one that says Wonderful on it, the blue one, that is, I think, from Sparkle City. There's a yellow layer in there from Glitter Girl. The little striped border piece that is going vertically is from Field Trip. So I pretty much am using stuff from a whole bunch of her collections, and I just love how they go together. And I love how vibrant this layout turns out. I'm using some of the cut apart sheets from Go Now Go. That one says like Journey, Adventure, Travel, and Happiness, I think. And I thought that was perfect for this because I wanted to highlight the happiness and the adventure. And I do put a little bit of ephemera over the part that says travel because we didn't really travel very far for this. But I like how it works. My title I'm doing out of these wood grain and gold thickers, and the words no shoes are going to be out of that, and then the words no shirt and no service are going to be out of other smaller letters, so the emphasis is on no shoes. And I'm putting that part of the title on first before I do any embellishment on the lower left hand corner, because I wanted to make sure that it fits and it lined up just below the photos. So that gave me the spacing that I had left over to go ahead and embellish and do a little bit of journaling next to it. I really like this this piece of ephemera up at the top, and I think it says New Adventures, but it also is like a boarding pass, and I thought that's fun for a ride, so go ahead and put that in there. And I like how it brings that turquoise color up to the upper right hand corner. And then this is a piece of packaging from Field Trip. It's got a bunch of lines on it, and I'm just going to do my journaling on there before I get too involved in doing the embellishments down in this bottom corner, so that I make sure I get the stuff written on it that I want to tell the story. And a lot of times I don't put a lot of journaling on here because my daughter will go through and do journaling on his layouts. But in this particular case, I was there and I wanted to go ahead and make sure that the story got written down and it was something that I could tell because I was actually present for it. So I'm going to go ahead and note that down there. And then that light bulb, it says idea inside, so I thought it was perfect for this story because it was like, oh, well, I have an idea. Let's go over to the gift shop and see if they've got shoes, and then we'll go ahead and take him on the ride. So I thought the light bulb was perfect for that. And then the heart, the little shaker heart that's up at the top, that's the one that's covering the word travel. And then I'm going to use some foam tape to lift up this piece, this ticket that says adventure on it. And I like how that works. And then I'm going to use some thinner foam to put underneath the top of that circular compass piece, because there are so many layers underneath those photos that it needed something to prop up the top portion, because otherwise it was kind of like making the paper sunk in. I don't even know if I just described that very well. Basically, there was a ridge under the paper otherwise, so I needed to bridge the gap. I'm using these little words stickers. These are also, I believe, from Go Now Go, and that piece says find your feet, which I thought was also perfect because of talking about his, his shoes. And then the piece that I put underneath where it says adventure says souvenirs on it. And hey, you might as well consider these shoes some souvenirs, at least for the time being, because they're so big on him. He's gonna have them for a while. In fact, he still has them, and they're still big on him. But it is what it is. That little turquoise piece says enjoy today, and that was pretty much the whole purpose. I wanted to enjoy the day and not worry about it, so we just went and invested in a pair of shoes, and it's all good. I am using these little wood buttons, and I am popping the epoxy out of the center of them and using just the epoxy. I'm not a huge fan of the wood buttons. They are super thick, and there's usually foam underneath them as well, which makes them even thicker. And I know you can peel that off, but they're still really bulky, which is kind of funny because I know these little shaker, heart and light bulb are also bulky, but I don't know. The wood buttons feel so bulky to me that I tend not to use them. So the best way that I can use them is to pop that epoxy out, and then I'm happy and everything in my world is right. So that's the way I tend to use them the most. I'm just pulling these little wood grained stickers. These are also from Box of Crayons, I'm pretty sure, and they've got colorful letters on them, so I'm just mixing up the colors of the letters, but I like that they're wood grain to bring more wood grain down into that corner for the title. And there's not a whole lot of other wood grain on the layout, but that's okay with me. So we are pretty close to the end of this. Go ahead and check out Kelsey Mae Webster's channel. I will leave a link down below. She is next in line, and see what she has done, and you can check out all the other ladies as well. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you've had a good time. I'll see you next time.